everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kayleigh McEnany, here with my co-host, Harris Faulkner and Emily Compagno. Also joining us, former RNC Deputy Communications Director and Vice President of COIN, Cassie Smedley, and former Wisconsin Congressman and co-host of The Bottom Line on Fox Business, Sean Duffy. We begin with the race for the White House. With less than 50 days until Election Day, thousands packed Nassau Coliseum in Blue State, New York last night, excited to see former President Trump speak at his first rally since the second assassination attempt.
Wow, these are a big crowd. I'm thrilled to be back in the state I love with thousands of proud, patriotic New Yorkers who are really the heart and soul of America. We know that. And the reason I'm here is because it hasn't been done in many decades. It hasn't been done for a long time, but we are going to win New York. And that's the first time in many, many years that a Republican can honestly say it, and we're going to do it. Americans deserve a campaign based on the issues. We try and keep it on the issues. And God has now spared my life. It must have been. God, thank you. Not once, but twice. And there are those that say he did it because Trump is going to turn this state around. He's going to turn this country around. He's going to make America great again. These encounters with death have not broken my will. They have really given me a much bigger and stronger mission. They've only hardened my resolve to use my time on earth to make America great again, for all Americans to put America first. And so I say to the people of New York, with crime at record levels, with terrorists and criminals pouring in, and with inflation eating your hearts out, vote for Donald Trump. What the hell do you have to lose? What do you have to lose?
Quite a question there. This comes as new Fox News polls show the presidential race essentially locked in a dead heat. Harris has a 2-point lead over Trump nationally. Now, that's well within the margin of error. But Trump is ahead 2 points in battleground counties and states. And voters say they prefer Trump on 2 issues, the economy and immigration. Okay, I want to start here, Cassie, with what you see when voters are asked, did the policies of Trump and Biden help or hurt you? And I want to pull up the net numbers. That means the difference between help and hurt. And you see it's -24 with Biden, say that the Biden-era policies hurt them. And you see +17 say the Trump-era policies help them. That's quite a differential. So for Kamala Harris, she needs to get away from the Biden policies. And when she has been given 3 opportunities to do so, asked, are Americans better off than they were 3 years ago? Watch what she said.
Do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
Are they better off now than they were 4 years ago?
What are 1 or 2 specific things you have in mind for that?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid.
I grew up a middle-class kid. I grew up a middle-class kid.
She can't do it.
Yeah, she's very good at staying on script. A very artfully scripted dodge because she knows the answer. The answer is no. The American people have very good memories. And if you don't have a good memory, you have a bank account. And you know what that looks like now versus 3 years ago. You know what your 401k looks like now versus 3 years ago. And that's why you see, despite the national polls head-to-head on the issues, there's been no change because they're not getting answers. And they know that the answers they are getting don't match what they're feeling. And there's a lot of opportunity for Donald Trump here to really capitalize on that. And I love when he says, what do you have to lose? Well, what we have to lose is what we've been feeling the last 3 years. And we can't have 4 more years of that.
Emily, and for lack of a better word, and I'll use an acronym here, rather an abbreviation, what I learned from this Fox poll is Americans have a very good BS detector because when they are asked, is Kamala Harris willing to say anything, they say 55% see her as willing to say anything to get elected. 48% say the same about Trump.
Ooh, well, remember, we've seen that for years, right? Frankly, decades. behind Kamala Harris. We saw that when she was running for Senate, for AG, even for DA, right? When she's the best chameleon possible and it's polished, she's good at memorizing lines, to your point. But when it comes to policy, the fact that she cannot even point at or articulate why she's been flip-flopping, it shows that there's just sort of this vacuous space within. But if you go back, think about what you stood for. We've talked before about what theses we wrote in law school. We can articulate now the points that we used and why we felt that way. And we can also articulate why we don't feel that way anymore. This is someone who has been on the public dole for decades, who looked to us to ensure that we kept her in these places representing us as the highest prosecutor of the state of California, defending the laws. And then look what she did. She ruled that a proposition, she said, well, it's unconstitutional, so I'm not going to defend it. We have someone who, as vice president, said, well, it doesn't matter what the law says, I'm just going to let migrants vote. This is someone who over and over again has pushed her values over the law, and that's what they want to actually represent the country as commander-in-chief, someone that would absolutely flout the laws of the Constitution or constitutionality of the votes of the American people because she feels a certain way. This chameleon cannot stand. And to your point about President Trump, what we have to lose, it's everything because we've lost it already.
Yeah, there were a lot of interesting new questions in this poll I'd not seen in any poll ever conducted this election, one of which was, what is going to motivate you to go to the polls? And look at the issues that are going to motivate people. This is enthusiasm, get out the vote, high prices, and immigration are the top two. Two issues Trump has massive leads on.
Right, I was going to make that point. So, again, the two issues that motivate voters are two of the top issues that Donald Trump performs on, right? And so I think it's also interesting in the polling. Again, Kamala Harris has made up some ground in the last 6 weeks, but it still shows that with black voters, Donald Trump's getting 29%. 4 years ago, he was at like 12%, right? So that's a huge gain, and it matters in places like Detroit and in Georgia. But then Hispanic voters are at 46%. He got 35, 34% in the last election. Nevada, Arizona. So this is, completely shaking up the ground in which we're playing politics. And I love that he's going not just to do the rally last night in New York. He went to bodegas, and he's gone to the Bronx. And he's actually making plays for places that Republicans don't play. And that matters because a lot of people think in New York their votes don't matter, right? Donald Trump's never going to win here, so why do I vote? When you actually say, actually, your votes do matter, and we can win this state, that's an energizer, right? That's going to turn votes out for him. And he may not win, but what he may do is make Kamala Harris spend money and play in this state where she never would have had he not done the work here.
Well, and I would add to that it also brings the country together.
Yeah.
And almost by default. I don't even know if he's meaning to do it on this issue, but when you identify people in New York and Springfield, Ohio, and other places who are having similar economic and illegal immigration type challenges, pressure on the resources in those areas, where you've had people come in who perhaps won't ever be vetted in this country, we'll never know who they are. But when you see those pressures come in and you feel them all over the country, suddenly there's a unified idea that, well, we're all under pressure now. And maybe that cuts across party lines. Maybe that's why he is currently doing better with independents than she is doing. But you'd have to be able to articulate the path. And I appreciate so much what Emily says. Fine, if you want to get to where Trump is now, if you want to borrow that no taxes on tips, of course, he's furthered that. There are a whole lot of people aren't going to have to pay taxes. The ideas are being kicked around. Well, would it be military for certain, injured people, whatever it is. If you get to that point with borrowing, maybe you ought to explain why suddenly you look more like a Republican at this moment. Forget about the fact that she's flip-flopping. People in her own party ought to be questioning, well, why does she not exactly keep her word on reparations? Oh, they're going to study it, which means they'll never get to it. And so her just dropping the word, the words we're studying reparations isn't enough. She owes it to her own party's voters to come clean on, well, why are you flip-flopping? Why are you changing?
Cassie, we just have a few moments here, but you and I worked together at the Republican National Committee for the lead up to 2020, 2 of those years. And I wanted to see what you made of the fact that Biden's numbers were so much better than Kamala Harris's. I went back to our Fox News poll, first week of September. Last cycle, here's what you see. Biden had a 5-point lead. That is more than double Kamala Harris. What do you make of that?
That is interesting because Biden was so much worse on the issues. But I think you're recalling back how people actually feel about Kamala Harris. Remember when even Democrats were like, I don't know how we don't swap her in for Biden or swap Biden out with her. We can't get over the optics if we don't choose her, but gosh, we really don't want her because she's worse than Biden. Her policies are worse. Her inability to connect with people is worse. And so despite everybody's effort to have this hope and joy campaign, again, why you're not seeing those changes in the polls on the issues is because people remember, to your point, Emily, Kamala Harris's record, and that she has been a pretty abysmal vice president, having done nothing on anything that she's been tasked. And if I can just say one point really quick, Sean, you were kind of getting there on the down ballot races. Maybe Trump doesn't take New York in the Electoral College, but there's this great opportunity to get more members of Congress from the state of New York. That's why your vote matters, this down ballot. So that he's spending time here and ramping up those folks is so important and hopefully enticing for people to get out to the polls too.
And that's why I went to red state Montana to try to unseat John Tester and win back the Senate.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.